Yeah, so it's really nice to be here. Thank you for coming. I know you haven't all come for me, but thank you anyway. Two people who have come for me are my dad and my sister, who are over there. So I wasn't going to point you out, but I have. There you are. Can you hear, by the way?
Yes.
Yeah, good. So I thought I'd start with thank yous, move briefly or quickly into my name, which is Jnanadaya, and end up with, if there's time, just something about Guhyaloka, which is where we had our ordination retreat. So I feel generally incredibly grateful, which is a good thing, I think. Actually, and quite early in the retreat, I did realise that I've been the recipient of an awful lot of love, much more love than I normally. Well, I guess I didn't really realise. So, from obviously family, grandparents. I was born in India. I had a really nice ayah. I had, lots of nice people who were very, very lovely, and particularly my parents have given me huge amounts of love. So, apologies for not acknowledging it more fully, but it's there. Thank you so much, Dad. And my mum's not here, but for her too. And I also reflect on my sister. That my sister is she's kind of a rocker. She's a very sociable person. My sister. You wouldn't recognise her now, but she really is. Like, she's the life and soul. But she's very, very solid. So she really kind of cements our family. My brother's not here, but I probably wouldn't be here without him in a way. He lived in Victoria Park Road, and that was my introduction to the London Buddhist Centre. So a kind of quick whip through of thank yous. So I apologise for that. I guess I'd like to. There's two people who aren't here tonight, like Punyamati and Mangala, who kind of kept me in touch with London Buddhist Centre or with Buddhism. I got in touch with Buddhism in my early 20s and moved away, and they kind of kept on staying in touch with me. So I'm very grateful to them. Manjusi, again, who's not here, who invited me to be on the Friday team, extended friendship to me, invited me to have dinner at Sukhavati, said, "Oh, I could see you living here." I did end up living in Sukhavati. I'm very grateful to Manjusi. I'm very grateful to Sukhavati, which is what is Sukhavati? It's like it's been going an awful long time, and a lot of people have gone through it, and it's like an education in how to be a Buddhist and how not to be a Buddhist sometimes, but generally a really very, very good place to be. I'm very fortunate to... Actually, I should scrub that bit. So I'm really, really grateful to Sukhavati. The London Buddhist Centre itself, I think, is an exceptional Buddhist centre. I think it's got exceptional leadership and exceptional people here. I see Dave Mitra there, nice to see you. So I think and actually the people who come along as well, it's incredibly vibrant, like energy attracts energy, and I think there's an awful lot of good energy at the London Buddhist Centre. I reiterate, I think we're really fortunate. I'm very fortunate to be here. I came along to West London, the West London Buddhist Centre originally, so thank you to West London. Give a nod to them. Pranny Devi is here, and she kind of kept me going in body for quite a long time. Attila in soul and mind. And then I think Paramabandhu took me under his wing a little bit too. I'm very grateful to him. I was part of an incredibly good Mitra study group, some of whom are here, and really Jaka led that, still leads it, I think. So that was a fantastic place for me too. Really good going for refuge group as well. So lots of institutions here that have really helped me. I want to particularly thank Maitreya Bandhu. Again, like Maitreya Bandhu, he was my private preceptor, took me on. I felt immediately got by Maitreya Bandhu. Like the first meeting, like really got, one of the things like that was kind of, but also incredibly encouraged. Like right from like. I felt like you had confidence in me as a potential order member, but also as somebody. If I never joined the order, that was all right too. So I really appreciate that. And I remember you talking about going to see Bante and saying, "I don't know where I would have been, without you." And Bante saying, "Well, it doesn't bear thinking about, does it? And it's true. It really doesn't, but not for your sake. But I think for, you ordained 3 of us, like for all our sakes here at London Buddhist Centre, you're an amazing person and a great resource. I'm incredibly grateful. Okay, I've probably left people out, but that's thank yous. Jnanadaya means, it's a very nice name, I think. Anyway, I'm not very... It means he whose kindness is wise, and you could flip it, say he whose wisdom is kind. So there's different aspects to it. So there's qualities that Macho Bandhu's seen in me, which is very, very nice of him. It's something for me to live up to. So I think my attraction to Buddhism, I was very attracted to the figure of the Buddha. And one of the things I loved about him was that he was wise. Like nobody could get anything over the Buddha. Like he was just imperturbable. So that's a quality that I really loved. And he was also incredibly kind. Like the whole thing about Buddhism and tolerance, that generally, I'd studied the Crusades, I'd studied quite a lot of sort of violent religious history, and Buddhism seemed to really kind of go against that. So, and I was also very, very moved recently. I was in India, and I was at Kushanagara where the Buddha died effectively, and really struck by sitting this long, long statue of the Buddha, like 16 foot, I think, and it's like sitting at somebody's wake. It definitely felt like, God, I'm here. And his Ananda, who was his cousin and his attendant, was incredibly upset with the Buddha dying. And I was really struck by that and thinking, of the humanity of the Buddha and the humanity of Ananda, and Ananda saying, he who was so kind. So it's like, that's a quality of the Buddha that I guess it's something of the humanity of the Buddha. So it's something for me to a name for me to really live up to as well and to grow into. And the last thing about the name is that it's a koan. So I think for me particularly, sometimes I can be kind but not wise, and sometimes I can be wise and definitely not kind. Often I can be none of those. really much too often. But it's like, oh, that's it's all, and I guess I've talked to Macho Ben quite like that. I really get frustrated with myself sometimes about I don't want to be nice, but I want to be kind. But then the wisdom aspect can be a bit cruel sometimes, or a bit harsh, or it has that element to it, which I quite like as well, like the sort of wrathful wisdom. But so it's a name to live up to, and I really loved what he wrote at the end. Macho Bandhu gave us all some writing about our names, and he wrote, the name shows that Jnanadaya's wisdom is an aspect of his kindness, and that his kindness is an expression of his wisdom, so that his life's work is to embody and live out wisdom and kindness until they become indistinguishable. And that's like, whoa, that's poetry, I do think that. And it's a chat, that's, if I can do that, then I'm great. Rule of the world. Okay, I have no idea how much time I have, but I'll say a little bit about Gyukyaloka. It says it's under 4 months. People keep saying it's 4 months, but it's actually under 4 months. It's just under 4 months. And one of the things I realised quite early on was that it's incredibly serious. I've been around a long time, but it was much more serious than I thought. So, like, first month, there's a series of rituals, and I think, oops, this is serious. And then, it's even more serious. And then the private ordination was positively scary. I talked to my chairman about it. If he'd gone a bit slower, I'd have said, whoa, this is too much. But I'm glad I didn't. Because I'd have had a rotten time, I think. So yes, I'm really pleased. Again, my chairman was so supportive with that. I said, I really thought I should stop it, and he said, interesting or something. Good. Yes. So it's very serious for me anyway. I think also I thought it's different for everybody. Everybody had a different experience. So for somebody else, it might not be serious at all. It might be just a breeze, or not a breeze necessarily, but just a real affirmation of where they're at. I think for me, it felt like, there's a lot for me to work through. And by the end of the retreat, I took the ordination vows again. We repeated them. I didn't take them again. We just repeated them, and I felt, there's much more of me behind this now than there was in week 4. The other thing about it, I thought it's quite interesting being in such a closed environment with not many guys. Actually, there are 20 of us. Oh, Vidyadhaka, I didn't thank you. I will thank you, but yeah, no. Good. Anyway, so lots of patterns of behaviour came up for me, like not very pleasant ones, like from school, like things I'd really forgotten I could be like that. So a lot of envy. You heard the guys talk; they're really, really good. Quite often I'd be like, "Oh man," and their names. Sometimes, they're really good names. So yeah, I had to do with quite a lot of envy and competitiveness as well. Like there's 16 guys, we're quite competitive. So there's quite a lot of competitiveness. I was also struck with how fragile life is. Actually, it's 4 months. It's not a very long time, 4 months, but it's 4 months without any contact with people you love and care about, and anything can happen in those 4 months. I definitely had a sense of, man, I really hope nothing has happened. I hope everyone's all right. So I was very much struck by how fragile our lives are, and good timing. All right, I'll stop at that point. Thank you very much.